Hello class, this is Mr. Beller, and this module is going to help us build on the skills that we need to be able to correctly and accurately analyze sources for the DBQ and just in general in class. This module will focus on point of view in analyzing a document, and this module will also focus on historical context. The module will end with you practicing independently, incorporating all the skills, intended audience, purpose, point of view, historical context, and looking at documents dealing with the French and Indian War. Please make sure that you're recording any information that I've asked you to throughout this module. This will include examples, notes, and any other questions or charts that need to be filled out from the various handouts and sources that you will be exposed to. So looking at point of view, the purpose of this activity that we're doing is to build your understanding of how the author's point of view influences the content of a primary source and how this information can be used in analyzing a document. We should be able to answer the essential question, and then listed below I have identified the various objectives that you should be able to meet after going through this module. So let's get started. I have displayed for you a quote. Alan Frederick is the best high school basketball player to appear on the scene in the last 10 years. Below this quote, I have listed out various authors. Your task is to rank the reliability of the source based on each point of view. When doing this, you should discuss why some sources are more reliable than others. As a group or in your partners, you should discuss your rankings, and you should be able to point out how point of view is closely dependent on the author's background and how that may influence the author's tone and perspective. Next, let's look at point of view in a historical sense. I've displayed the quote, Pennsylvania, the poor man's paradise. Below the quote, I've listed out possible authors. First, working independently, rank the reliability of the source based on each point of view using the same rankings, and write your justifications for each ranking. After doing this, turn to a partner and compare your rankings and come up with a final list. Once again, I should see your individual rankings and a partner rankings on your sheet. When you're done with your final list, discuss with your partner which source was most reliable. Who claimed that Pennsylvania was the best poor man's paradise? How might the entire meaning of the quote change based on your understanding of point of view? What do you know about the roles of each of these people living in the 17th century? After discussing these questions with your partner, we can finish by reading the excerpt from the author, Gabriel Thomas. So this is the source that the quote comes from Gabriel Thomas. Gabriel Thomas was a Quaker who lived in Pennsylvania from 1682 to 1697, and he describes his conditions in this new settlement. So what you want to do is read this, pause the video and read the source, and you should be able to provide examples from the text on your sheet of paper that validate our conclusion that Gabriel Thomas was in fact the author, and that Pennsylvania, in his point of view, was the best poor man's paradise. Please press pause and read the following document. Next, to continue to practice point of view, we will move on to the activities labeled Who Said It. The topic that surrounds this Who Said It activity will be looking at different point of views on various different Native American cultures in the 17th century. The first thing you need to do is, in your group of 4, compare different Native American cultures in the 17th century. The Iroquois, the Cherokee, the Powhatan, the Pequot, the Pueblos, and ask yourself, what do we know about these cultures at this time? What types of sources would be most reliable and understanding, or to have a better and deeper understanding of each of these various cultures? Next, you are provided with 4 short excerpts from various sources: a French priest, a Dutch minister, a woman taken captive by the Native Americans, and an English captain. Students should read each excerpt, keeping in mind the author's point of view. After reading the excerpt, you should predict who wrote each source. Students should give specific examples from the text that indicate point of view to support your claims about the author and the reliability. You can do this by copying the handout and the chart that was provided for you with the documents. After correctly matching the sources to the author, students should then discuss each author's point of view and answer the questions at the bottom of the handout. Please do this on your own sheet of paper. Before moving on, by moving from your own experience, hopefully by the end of this module, by moving from your own experience considering point of view to a perspective of how point of view relates to historical inquiry, you should begin to understand how to employ this aspect of document analysis to historical questions. If you have any questions or you still have some concerns about point of view and using this to help you better understand document analysis and how it can help you answer a historical question, please see me and pause the module. Moving on, we will next look at historical context and primary source. We're going to look at the same prompt and the same list of authors. Once again, Alan Frederick is the best high school basketball player to appear on the scene in the last 10 years. The authors are the same. However, here's some new context for the quotes. Alan Frederick's father was a highly successful basketball player at Duke University under the same head coach. He now owns a local business that is a major employer in town. Your task is to work with a partner to discuss how this new context changes the rankings you gave your sources previously. You need to justify and write down on your sheet of paper why you changed your rankings based on this new information. We really need to emphasize that this information is in the context of the document. Be sure that you use the term context as you justify your changes in the ranking in order to reinforce the idea of the importance of understanding historical context and source analysis. Next, we're going to use our understanding of historical context and looking at a document. The document that you're going to look at is Roger Williams' letter to the town of Providence that was written in 1655. Anytime you're looking at historical context, you need to be able to answer the following questions. Where and when was a document produced? What was happening at the time? What events were happening in the world at the same time? How might these events or this context affect the author's audience, purpose, or point of view? Would the meaning of the document change if we placed it in a different historical context? So as you are taking these questions into consideration, we will look at Roger Williams' letter, and we'll use this document to explore the following question. How and why did religious ideas affect the political changes in the colonies from 1635 to 1700? Before you read the document, discuss what you already know of Roger Williams. I've outlined some questions here that you should be able to discuss with your partner. Even though you don't have to write them down, they should be taken into consideration, and you should be able to produce answers for the majority of these bulleted questions. After looking at what you already know about Roger Williams, read the letter. Note the text of the letter that is tied to any of the information that was obtained or discussed from the questions above. Then, ask yourself, how would the meaning of the letter change if we placed it in a different historical context? For instance, would the meaning change if it was written to the people of Boston instead of Providence, and instead of 1655, it was written in 1635? Would you be able to make sense of it if it was written by Nathaniel Bacon to the Virginia colony in 1676? After discussing these bulleted questions and taking the underlying questions into consideration, use the document to answer the question based on the historical context of the document. Once again, the question that you're supposed to be answering is, how and why did religious ideas affect the political changes in the colonies from 1635 to 1700? When answering this question, you should have your answer be rooted in the historical context surrounding the document. Finally, after going through and understanding and completing the objectives for point of view and historical context, you will now be given or have access to the French and Indian War DBQ. The link that I've provided will give you access to the DBQ, and I'll also have some class handouts that you can use while you are in class currently. When looking at this French and War DBQ, complete the happy chart below using all the documents. For each document, you should label the document author or source. You should talk about the historical context surrounding the document, the intended audience of the document, the purpose, the point of view, and then why does this document help you answer the question. The question that you're trying to answer is, in what ways did the French and Indian War alter the political, economic, and ideological relations between Britain and its American colonies? Please use the exercises and the work that you did for intended audience and purpose with the 3 documents that you had for homework. And please use your new knowledge obtained from this module discussing point of view. You can use the handouts that you looked at during the point of view exercise and the answers that you got from that. And please also use the historical context exercise to help you overcome any obstacles or help you answer any questions that you might have concerning this DBQ. All parts of this assignment, intended audience, purpose, point of view, historical context, and the happy chart will be collected and will be used to help me gauge how well or how proficient you and your classmates are in understanding the skills necessary in analyzing documents. If you have any questions, please see me during class. Stop the module and see me during class, or email me. Come before school, come after school, or write out questions that you still have on a separate sheet of paper and turn in with the assignment. Thank you.